What is up, my fellow nerds? Welcome to Tales of Nerdia. Today we're talking about Chapter 373 of Hunter x Hunter. There's been a lot of build up until now. Finally getting some action. I know a lot of people have been bored, there's a lot of dialogue with all the build up, so many parties at play here, and I just gotta ask you.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Alright, jokes aside, there's something I want to talk about that I should have mentioned last chapter, and, we figured out who was the murderer, the person behind the murder of Prince Momose. And previous chapters, I think it was 366, was titled each, that we got to see every prince and who was guarding them, and Togashi let us know, this is the guard's name, here's who they work for. So the murderer turned out to be Queen Swinko's guard. So I went back to that chapter just to see if I can gauge Queen Swinko and see what her personality is. She's trying to motivate Sale and trying to get him to take the succession war more seriously, saying, this is your opportunity. And she says, I'll do anything to support you. So she must be the one who had planned this out, the murder of Prince Momose. Well, actually, if you go back to that chapter and you see all of the bodyguards that are protecting Momose as she sleeps, and you get to see whoever the murderer is, you get to see their thoughts. And the thoughts that this person has is that, I have to do this, and I'm going to leave evidence so people know it's me. That way I can have a position, a high-ranking position, with the next king. And it doesn't specifically say who that next king is, and that makes sense to make it a mystery. It would be good to leave out that information, so we're not sure which one of these guards is thinking that. But on the other hand, it seems like maybe this guard acted on his own. So I'm kind of thinking, I don't know which way to go with it. Was this Swinko's doing? Did she order this guard to take out Momose when he had the opportunity, or was he acting on his own? Not really 100% sure. But we do know that Swinko is invested in this succession war and trying to help out Sale. But that's that. I should have mentioned it last week. I didn't, so I wanted to cover it now. Let's get to the juicy stuff, all right? Camilla. I did not see this coming, and just the first half of the chapter just blew by. I'm just clicking like, oh shit, she's getting further down the hallway. Oh my god, she's already in Benjamin's place. And then just the revealing the Nen Beast as soon as I saw it, my first thought is like, did her Nen Beast just get retconned? Like, it's that thing with all the little tentacles at the top, and turns out this is just her Nen. And I never really thought of having a Nen ability that only activates after death. That's just insane. And she says it's all the more powerful for it. So it seems like she is aware that by creating Nen like this, Nen that is activated after death, it is more powerful. Now, after she gets shot by Benjamin's guard and revives herself, the other guards rush in. They want to stop her from going to Prince Benjamin's room, but Camilla's mom, the queen, comes in and basically tells them to step down, let her do what she wants. And to me, this makes it obvious that the queen knows about Camilla's ability and probably, doesn't feel like she is in too much danger. Either that or, she's probably not favorable towards Camilla. Camilla's ordering her around. You need to take out Hulkenberg, things like that. She always just has this somber look on her face, and I wonder why that is. She's clearly aware of the succession war and invested in the succession war by assigning guards to the different princes, but I start to think about Camilla's restrictions, and of course, having to die for your Nen to activate is a huge restriction, but to kill the person who killed you and then to resurrect yourself, I feel like there would have to be more to it than that. When she is revived, does this affect her personality at all? And does it matter whose life she takes? Does that affect her personality at all? Does maybe the queen has seen her die before and has already felt like she lost her daughter? I don't know. There's just something going on with this queen and that looking on her face that is just, it's so dead. And maybe we'll learn more about that later. So Camilla, she goes storming off. Heading down the hallway, she ends up encountering Furikov. And when Camilla just opens fire on them, my heart is racing at this point. Based on the last chapter when you saw her face, you knew she was out for blood. But I even then, I did not expect this type of action to happen. She was a little too impatient, as Benjamin says, even though he's being a bit of a hypocrite. If you remember from several chapters ago, after the ceremony or after the banquet, when he had an encounter with Camilla, he gets all heated up and he just starts storming down the hallway, rips off his shirt. He was ready to go kill the fourth prince. You know, he told Balsamico, bring the fourth prince before me. I'm going to kill him. He's a bit impatient himself. But at that point, he didn't know about the Nen beasts, and he was just, like, their plan was just, hey, we know Nen, and we don't think other people do, so that's how we're going to get rid of all the other princes. So he just decided, after that banquet, I'm just going to take things into my own hands and do it now. So he's a bit impatient himself. Bit of a hypocrite, Benjamin. Step your game up. But really, like, before Camilla got to Benjamin's room, she should have detected that something was up, because Furikov didn't do anything after she shot him. How did you not figure that out, that something was up?
No, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And if you remember the king's words from several chapters ago when he was discussing the Nen Beast's abilities and how this succession war is going to be won, you know, it's not just by bloodshed and things like that. You know, you have to have connections and lots of pieces on the board and manipulating people. There's much more to it than just charging in head first like Camilla did and taking care of it yourself. So I think we can kind of use the advice or those thoughts from the king to look at the other princes and really judge, like, who has a lot of pieces on the board and who is going to charge in like Camilla did to take action. And we can probably determine, who's going to get picked off quickly. So now Camilla's in Benjamin's room, gets shut down pretty quickly. Furikov puts her in handcuffs, and like, he's starting to grow on me, you know? I know he's causing trouble for Kurapika, and I shouldn't really be rooting for him, but just, like, the look on his face when he handcuffs Camilla, and she's, oh, kill your family, everyone you love is going to be dead, and he's just, well, I have no family, and my father is Benjamin. Just that dedication of Benjamin's soldiers is something you got to admire a bit, and then how that ties into Benjamin's Nen ability was pretty sick. You see on his hand, he's got the stars. His pinky was covered, so I didn't see if there was one there. But two of them, two of the stars have Nen around them, and that is Muse, who used that owl technique to communicate telepathically to Benjamin. And then the second one is Vincent, who had like an air blow technique. I got back to thinking about that. Went back to the chapter with Vincent in it to remember what his Nen was. But Kurapika should have that in his vial. So I'm wondering how that works, because now Kurapika has the ability, and so does Benjamin. Okay, so I double-checked that chapter. After Vincent dies when he bites down on the poison, Kurapika's Dolphin-san, right over there, asks him if he wants to equip the ability that he stole to Dolphin-san. And Kurapika is unsure if he wants to do that. You know, what if it has a lot of restrictions to it? And he starts thinking about the consequences of that. But Dolphin-san knows that Kurapika has the ability, and that's why it's asking him, do you want to equip it? So it seems that even though Vincent died, Kurapika has that ability still. And then Benjamin, when we see his hand, because two of the stars on his hand have aura around them, seems like he has the ability as well. So apparently that's how it works when you're transferring abilities. Anywho, back to Camilla's situation. So she's arrested. They've got her behind bars there, but she's not completely out of the race yet. You know, she dismisses her Nen Beast as like, I don't really need a spiritual guardian Nen Beast because I have this Nen power. So I'm wondering how that attitude towards her Nen Beast will affect its ability, affect its activation. Maybe it senses that Camilla is not in any true danger, which is why it hasn't revealed itself yet. But she's definitely not out of this fight yet. As much as I talked about last chapter that, I'm on Benjamin's side, I'm not going to show him any favoritism. I don't think she's out of this fight yet. She's just arrested. They can't kill her, because if they do, well, they might be able to counter her counter-type Nen now, because they pretty much know exactly how it works. So in the end, they could probably find a way to counter that. But she's not out yet. Still haven't seen what that Nen Beast is going to do. And based on what happened with Hulkenberg, he wanted to resign from the succession war, but his Nen Beast's ability still activated. Will Camilla's personality affect it? Probably only a little. But maybe not at all. Now, after all that exciting stuff, which I absolutely loved, we got to see Hanzo again. he contacts Kurapika, which is great. Haven't seen them interact in a while. He explains his current situation to Kurapika, and he explains his ability. It says there, I'll probably return to my original body by tomorrow, was one of his responses to the way that Kurapika could help him out, saying, oh, maybe I can get Hulkenberg. He's the one I would probably trust the most, but not till tomorrow. And Hanzo says, well, I'll be back to my original body by then. So he's explained his ability to Kurapika. I wonder if he told him how he went and murdered Swinko's guard for the murder of Momose. I wonder how much detail he really gave Kurapika. So most of that discussion we can kind of ignore. I think it is interesting that Kurapika said that the one he would trust the most is Hulkenberg's guard. Thinking back, it kind of makes sense. The Zhang Lei, he probably couldn't get Zhang Lei and his guards involved, even though Zhang Lei seems to have some empathy towards the younger princes. Just an interesting fact there that that's who Kurapika trusts the most is Hulkenberg's guards. But a lot of it is really just Hanzo being confused, explaining some rules about the phones and stuff, and then they get the phone call, and it's Mariam's guard. And they're in the room. So last week when I was trying to hypothesize on how Hanzo's body got moved, there were several people in the comments who had mentioned that the Nen Beast probably put him in some sort of, other dimension, or other, how I like to think of it, is a different territory. And that idea had popped into my mind. I didn't give it a lot of thought, but I was just like, nah, that seems too far-fetched. Now with this chapter, it seems that is the most likely situation. Because once Hanzo hears that it is the guard on the phone, he rushes back to the room, enters the room, nobody's there. But then the panel right below it shows that the prince, the queen, and this guard are in that room right now. So based on that, I kind of started thinking about why Prince Mariam's Nen Beast is growing, why it's shrinking, and more details about what this ability could be. It makes sense to, if someone enters the room, let's say this ability is to create a separate territory. If somebody enters the room, they're actually entering the Nen Beast territory, which mimics the current prince's room, but it's just the Nen Beast in there. Now, in reality, is the Nen Beast still that large? I'm unsure about that. Is the vision of the Nen Beast in this other territory just a smaller, more vicious one? Kind of what I was thinking was that as the Nen Beast was growing, it was slowly taking Nen from Prince Mariam, which is what is making it that large. And it probably takes an enormous amount of Nen to create this extra territory that it would put people in. And by finally using that ability with Hanzo, it is using up the Nen, and maybe that's why it is shrinking. And anything that enters this territory, it is probably seeing as an enemy, based on Mariam's personality, maybe not trusting everybody. Very interesting, very curious to see how that's going to turn out. And because the guard is now on the phone with Shimano, I don't think she handed the phone over to Kurapika yet. What's going to happen there? We'll probably find out next week. But, Togashi leaving us with that nice cliffhanger. Overall, this chapter, fantastic. Finally getting some action. Last week I said things are heating up. This week, hot fire. But let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Do you think Camilla is out for the count right now? Are we going to see that Nen Beast do something? What do you think of Mariam's Nen Beast? Is this truly, another territory or another dimension that the Nen Beast is creating? And overall, just your feelings on the arc so far. Was it slow for you for a while? You feel like things are heating up now? Have you been enjoying it the whole time? Because I sure have. But anyways, that's all for me this week. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, maybe throw me a like if you want to. But I'll see y'all very soon. Oh, and I might be streaming this week, so if you'd like, follow me over on twitch.tv/Tales of Nerdia. I'm pretty sure that's the link. I'll put it in the description. I'm probably going to be streaming later tonight if you're watching this the day it comes out. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to be playing some more Monster Hunter. So go ahead and follow me on Twitch. Alright, bye!